All right. Well, I mean, I guess Alex, should we just get started and see who joins on? Yeah? Okay. Well, we're live here from the Cool Fish Bar up here in Lake Norman. It is a beautiful rainy day. I'm your host, Bob Peters, and I am going to be walking you guys through what to do with all that tequila left over from yesterday. I talked to a bunch of buddies today, and they all said that that they had a great time celebrating at home Cinco de Mayo and drank a bunch of margaritas, but today they don't know what to do with all their leftover tequila. So I figured I would make a couple of super simple drinks for you guys to make at home. We're going to start to do this 4 days a week. So what is it? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, right?
Yes.
From 5 o'clock until we finish. We probably won't go longer than an hour, probably no less than 30 minutes, somewhere around there. It just depends. If you guys have any questions, of course, feel free to use the little chat section down at the bottom. You can type in. Alex is behind the camera, and he is going to be feeding me questions or anything that I need to know from you guys. So feel free to jump in at any time for questions, and we can go totally off to the left or right if you guys need to. You just let me know. Trying to think. So first of all, thank you to Alex and Mona, the owners here at Cool Fish, for having me on. This is going to be a lot of fun with you guys. This is something that we thought would be a good opportunity to sort of take into your living room or onto your laptop or onto your phone, something that you guys can follow along with and do in the safety of your own home. Unfortunately, the bars and restaurants aren't quite open yet. And so what we wanted to do was just give you guys a couple of ideas of, again, just things to do super easy at home and maybe give you a little bit of that experience. There's a lot of people that I've been talking to that want to know a couple simple recipes for the house because they're sick of drinking their vodka sodas or their margaritas or whatever they have, their beers at home. So why don't we just get started and we'll see what happens, okay? This is our first time here, our first time running live, so you guys got to bear with us a little bit. I'm sure there's going to be 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 technical difficulties, but 0 if we can avoid it. So if something happens and we jump offline, we'll get right back on. So you guys hang in there with us, and we'll try to get through this together. Okay? All right. You guys ready? Okay. So let's talk about tequila. I pulled 3 different tequilas out for you guys today. I pulled out a Blanco or Silver, a Reposado, and an Añejo. Now the 3 different kinds of tequilas, like this is like a clear tequila. This would be like a gold tequila, and Añejo would be like an extra aged gold or something to that effect. So at any rate, basically these are just different ages of tequila. Obviously, well, not obviously. The youngest one, the one that's not aged at all or almost none, sometimes there's a little bit of aging in there for a little bit of a flavor, but the silver tequila, typically what they do is when they distill the tequila, they take it, and in order to age it, if they want to age it at all, they put it into a barrel, a charred barrel. So similar to the way that they do whiskey or bourbon or any of the aged spirits, rum, aged rum, those things. It's all the same sort of idea, okay? So what they do is they build a barrel, right? Then they char the inside of the barrel really well. Typically there's about a medium toast or char on the inside of the barrel, and then they take all the tequila and they store them in the barrel for anywhere from like a couple of days, which is not very typical, but that gives just subtle, tiny nuances, little tiny bits of flavor and personality to like what you would consider to be a silver tequila or a clear tequila. And then a Reposado or aged typically for about 6 months, and then an Añejo is a little bit longer than that. And then there's also an extra Añejo. Anyway, I know that's a whole bunch of really nerdy cocktail tequila talk, but that's sort of the basis for all this. And the main thing here is that you enjoy what you enjoy. So we're going to start off with the silver tequila. Now this is not going to have quite as much flavor or personality as maybe the reposado or the añejo. However, this makes a great mixing drink for certain kinds of tequila drinks, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and start on our first one. This is one of my personal favorites. We're going to make a Paloma for you guys. Paloma actually is Mexico's national cocktail. So if you go down to Mexico, you're not going to see a bunch of the locals drinking margaritas. What they actually drink is the Paloma. Paloma is Spanish for dove, which I think is a really beautiful sentiment. But this is what people actually drink down there, and it is amazing. And once you guys know how to do this at home, you're probably not going to drink margaritas anymore. Okay, so let's just get moving here. And if you guys, again, have any questions or any ideas, even if it's off topic of tequila, just type in your chat box down at the bottom, and we'll address them as soon as we can, okay? Okay, so I'm going to build this into a Collins glass, but if you don't have a Collins glass, there's no rules for at home. You know, if you have a Dixie cup, do it in a Dixie cup. If you have a giant big gulp cup, you can do it in a big gulp cup, whatever you need to do, okay? But hopefully we'll get you a pair of shakers, right? And so we're going to add some ice to this. And we're going to use our silver tequila. This is Luna Azul. This is one of my favorite silver tequilas for mixing with. It has a great price point. It's not expensive at all, and if you're going to have 74 margaritas or palomas like this, then this is a great tequila because of the really beautiful, inexpensive price, okay? So we're going to add 1.5 ounces of this Luna Azul silver tequila into our shaker filled with ice. And we next are going to use a little bit of grapefruit juice. I just squeezed this in the back about 5 minutes ago. So that is the trick to almost any beautiful craft cocktail. You have to use fresh juice. You have to use fresh juice because it tastes different. It's just so totally different. Like, well, I mean, the difference in between fresh squeezed grapefruit juice and that's like ocean spray stuff that you buy, it's two totally separate things. Or one of my favorite things ever, and I'm sure you know this too, Alex, orange juice. When you fresh squeeze orange juice, how different is that? Oh, it's so much different, right? Yeah. It's almost like two different things. So that goes for the rest of everything else that we're going to be talking about. So you could save a couple minutes and buy it in a bottle or whatever, but it's not going to be the same. So if you want to take a step up to the next level and really do this the right way, just take a couple minutes, not a big deal, and go ahead and juice your grapefruit, your lime, your lemon, whatever it is, and you'll thank me later, I promise, okay? So we are going to add 1 ounce of our fresh squeezed grapefruit juice into our shaker. And then we are also going to use a little bit of fresh squeezed lime juice. And we're going to use a half an ounce of that, okay? So just to recap just what we got so far, we have 1.5 ounces of the Luna Azul silver tequila. We also have 1 ounce of our grapefruit juice, a 1/2 ounce of lime juice, and then we're going to use 1 ounce of simple syrup, okay? I just got a little bit of simple syrup. Now, people ask me about that all the time as well. So here's my trick for you guys, okay? This hurts me to tell you my little trick. Okay, so most people make simple syrup one way, and that's the simplest way in the whole world, right? That's why it's called simple syrup. It's 1 part sugar and 1 part water, and you just dissolve the sugar in the water, right? Well, I think that's awfully sweet, and I think it's hard to control the amount of sugar that you're putting in there, even in small amounts, because the concentration of sugar, I think, is so high that what I do is I cut it in half. So equally as simple, you use 2 parts water and 1 part sugar. So that way the level of sugar is less intense, and it also makes it easier to get that perfect balance of sweetness in your own cocktail. Now, if you like things a little bit sweeter, You don't have to follow this recipe exactly, so just add a little bit more simple syrup after you taste it. And I'll show you how to do that right now, okay? So we have our tequila in here, we have our grapefruit, we have our lime, and our simple syrup, okay? I'm gonna give it a good shake. Okay, see how the tin is frosting up a little bit? That's where you wanna be. Okay. So, we're gonna strain this into our Collins glass. And this is a fancy way of straining, but this is another way how you guys can actually step up your cocktail game at home. And this is super cheap, and you're gonna love this. Let me see. Alex, can you see that well? Can you see that good? Okay, so this is a tea strainer or a cocoa strainer. Sometimes people drizzle a little bit of cocoa or sugar or something like that over whatever they have. You can find these at some ethnic food grocery stores or anywhere where you buy a lot of tea. And this is amazing. You can find these for as cheap as about $1.99, or you can spend probably $25 for them at Sur La Table or somewhere like that. But it's only about a $1.99 piece of equipment. And this is going to catch all those fine particulates from the grapefruit or from the lime juice, or when you shake your cocktail really hard, there's those little ice cubes in there are going to break up, splinter, and shatter in there. And so this is going to catch all of that, okay? So this is called double straining, and this is what you want to do anytime you shake a cocktail. Okay, we're going to take that about 3/4 of the way up. And then I'm going to clean my strainer out. Dump the rest of my ice. Quick rinse. Quick rinse. All right. So we've got about 3/4 of the way up here. Let me dry my hands real quick. All right, now here's the trick. This is the whole thing, and this is another one of my secrets. So the recipe will call for a grapefruit soda or like a Sprite or Squirt or something like that, whatever you have. But the trick is this one. This is Jarritos. So Jarritos has a bunch of different fun flavors like tamarind, they have an orange, they have a lime, fruit punch. This one is my favorite out of all those. This is incredible. This is the grapefruit soda. Okay, if you get it in just the single bottles, they're in glass bottles. The reason why this is so good is because it's a very, very light taste of grapefruit. It's not overwhelming. It's sweet. It's a soda, you know, it's a soda pop, but it's not crazy. And the interesting thing here, and why I think it's so delicious, is because it's actually made with real cane sugar instead of corn syrup, right? So the texture is way different. Alex, have you ever tried this before? Let me pour you a little bit. Make sure it doesn't explode over here. All right. Okay, and then we're going to just top that off. And it doesn't take a whole lot, it's only an ounce or two. What do you think, right?
It's not Fresca.
It's not Fresca, no. It's got a really beautiful mouthfeel, like it's really silky in your mouth and pretty dang yummy, and it makes the perfect Paloma. So, well, let me leave this up here. Jarritos grapefruit soda, I can't talk enough about that. So now we've got all of our ingredients finally in our glass. We'll give it a little bit of a stir just to sort of combine everything, put everything together, and we're down the home stretch, okay? So now all there's left to do is just garnish it. So I've got a fresh grapefruit, and I'm going to cut this in half, and then I'm going to take a little wedge off of that half. This is the easiest way ever to do it. You just get like a little smiley face or a half moon, whatever you want to call it, and then you tuck it right down in the glass, and that's it. Pretty easy, right? I know. If I can do it, you can do it. Okay. Probably ought to try this. Oh, God. That is really, really, really good. Alex, can I make you one? Sure. Yeah, you ready? All right. I'm going to have one more sip of mine. Oh, man, that is delicious. Okay, so we'll run through the recipe a little bit faster this time. All right. Got our Collins glass. Apollo! Apollo! All right, so I've got my ice in here. We're going to add 1.5 ounces of our silver tequila from Luna Azul, one of my favorites. We're going to add 1 ounce of fresh squeezed grapefruit. Fresh squeezed, remember, fresh squeezed. 1/2 ounce of fresh lime juice. We're going to do 1 ounce of simple syrup. If you like things a little bit sweeter, what you do is you try it. If it's not sweet enough, then you add about another 1/4 ounce of that simple syrup to it. Or you can always add a little bit more of the Jarritos. Whatever works best for you. But just add a little bit at a time, and then that way it doesn't get too sweet on you. If you get too sweet, then all of a sudden things start to go really, really wonky. So my motto is you can always add, but you can't take it out. So just add a little bit at a time, right? Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. All right, so we got all of our ingredients in here. Let's give it a shake. Remember, we're going to double strain this into our Collins glass. We'll take it about 3/4 of the way up. That's about right. And then last but not least, the secret recipe, the secret ingredient, the Jarritos grapefruit soda.
Where can people find the Jarritos? Is it available at the local Harris Teeter?
Okay, that's a great question. Thank you for asking. And I meant to say that already. So I live in Charlotte over in Plaza Midwood, and we have a couple of really amazing grocery stores over there that have great Latin sections. And so since this is from the Jarritos is from Mexico, you can find a bunch of different flavors of the Jarritos in that section, like the international section or the Latin section of your grocery store. I love little markets. You can look around all those places, and if not, you can just buy it off Amazon, I think. But typically, if you're not going to go through a ton of them, you can buy a couple bottles of them, and then they'll save forever, pretty much. Okay? So how about a little bit of grapefruit? And there you go, brother. Right? I know, that's good, right? Easy to drink, super refreshing. Like you could probably go from 0 to blackout at the pool in, I don't know, an hour if you drink those quick enough. I'm not recommending it.
To me, the margarita is a lot lighter. I like
Yeah, it's super light, and there's the sour mix sometimes in a margarita can get a little overwhelming, you know, with all that lime and lemon juice, depending on how you make your sour mix. But that is super light, super refreshing, and easy to drink. I think it's real easy. Okay. Questions so far? Anybody?
Nobody's posted any questions.
Nope. Okay.
Viewers,
We got a couple people watching.
we've got a few, but no one has any questions yet. Feel free to have those questions
Yeah.
for upcoming topics.
Absolutely. If you guys have any ideas for us for upcoming topics, please do so. Tomorrow, what I was planning on doing was some very easy classic cocktails to do at home. Some things that you probably heard about but never knew how to make correctly. So tomorrow, if you want to join in with us, again, the same bat time, same bat station here, streaming live from the Cool Fish Bar, then I would pick up a bottle of gin maybe your favorite gin if you want. I'm a huge proponent of local stuff. North Carolina is not known yet for its tequila, so obviously we're not using tequila, but there's a ton of local gin to choose from. Doc Porter's, there's also Cardinal Gin, there's the Durham Distillery that has several different kinds of gin, Top of the Hill, got Sutler's Gin from Winston-Salem. I mean, there's an absolute ton of really cool local gin. I'm sure I'm forgetting somebody and they're gonna be mad at me, but I'm sorry if I forgot. But pick up some gin and then grab a couple of fresh lemons, some fresh limes, and tomorrow we'll be doing some more stuff. If you have some bubbles in the house, save it, and tomorrow we're gonna utilize all that stuff. Okay?
Awesome. Can we do a quick shout out to Martha Funk? She's part of the Fresh Chef crew. She's tuning in.
Yep. Shout out, what's her name?
Martha Funk.
Martha, spell her last name? Funk.
Like funk music.
Funk Music. Martha Funk, how are you doing?
This is the Fresh Chef crew. She comes in, enjoys cocktails, so she's tuning in.
That's awesome.
Also, we'd like to let everyone know about our upcoming the DJ stream tonight with Ms.
Yep.
Ho. It's going to start at 7 o'clock.
So can you guys hear Alex? I hope you guys can hear Alex, but if not, we have a live stream of the DJs coming up tonight at 7 o'clock, right?
OldTownCornelius.com is helping us get the word out for that.
OldTownCornelius.com, right? And can we find the link to the DJ set through there?
We'll post it on Facebook. You'll just have to
Facebook.
click and go in and hit
Okay.
play, and you can watch away for 4 hours.
Okay, 4 hours, that's awesome.
Yep, 7 to 11.
That's great. I miss my live DJs, and I'm sure you guys do too. But this way, you can join us and enjoy some of the great music. Okay. Who else? Any more housekeeping for now?
No, I think we're ready to wrap. That was a fun first episode.
Ready to wrap?
Yep.
Okay. Well, thank you guys very much. Again, join us tomorrow at 5 o'clock. And we're going to be here. We're going to be doing some cocktails. So grab some gin, grab some fresh lemons, fresh oranges, fresh limes, fresh whatever you have, and juice them a little bit ahead of time. Make your simple syrup. Grab your bubbles, and then join us again tomorrow, okay? Thanks, guys, very much. And remember, follow Cool Fish on Facebook and Instagram, all your social media platforms. Cool Fish at Cool Fish LKN. That's right. Thanks, guys. See you tomorrow. Stay safe.